perspective here. This is a build for a customer. We're doing a special for him. We don't normally do a lot of building. It's quite an interesting build because the cable is the Neotech NES 3003 Mark II. Just here's a bit I cut off to show you how it's made up. You've got 4 conductors. Now this gentleman wants just a standard speaker cable. It's not bi-wired, so we've got 4 conductors: red, white, blue and black. So the red and the red will go with the white because one of the conductors is bigger than the other one slightly. Now it's all screened, so the whole entire wrap is screened here, and every single conductor is also screened. Showing you there. So it's UP-OCC copper as you'd expect from Neotech, really high quality copper. The braid is silver plated copper, as is the screen here is silver plated copper. So I asked Neotech, how do you make this cable? And they basically said, you just cut all the screens off. And I thought, well, really, you should use the screen. So my intention with this build is to, at the amp end, wire up the screen to the negative terminal, so effectively it is acting as a screen. So it'll be definitely quiet, though you won't get any pickup at all. And also I'm going to incorporate the screen of the negative end for the conductors. I'm also going to wire that up. For the signal, I'm not going to use the screen because it gets pretty dicey. As you're soldering your signal to your banana plug, you heat up the wire obviously to solder to the plug, and you have to get quite a bit of heat. Now sometimes what happens is the covering of the signal will kind of melt a bit, and if it touches the screen, then effectively the wire it won't work because you just connected the earth to the actual signal. So we're not going to do that. So first of all, oh, by the way, the gentleman in question wants to use the AudioNote bananas. Brilliant bananas. They give you a really good contact. It's solderable, quite a nice big kind of solder bucket. So yeah, great banana plug to use. I'll pop them there. It's quite a complicated build. So we're going to start off with the amp end. Now, if you look at the cable, it is marked for directionality. So you can see that there. There's an arrow. So the arrow is pointing towards the speaker end. So we want the amp end. So this end is the amp end. So that's what we're going to work with now. I'm doing the harder one first. I'm going to cut it back 8 centimeters. So I've got my shatterproof ruler, which is been shattered. Oh, I did have it. Where did that go? So I'm going to use, there's centimetre measurements on my board. I'm going to cut off a bit of this. So to get a nice kind of round cut, we're going to make a circle around the cable. So you want 8, so that goes to... So there, I'm going to mark it with a pen. There. So that's 8 centimetres. Yep. And I'm going to make a nice circle with the tape, because it's very easy to cut a circle, but it's not, it's kind of off centre. So wrap that round so it's nice and clean like that. Brilliant. And then I'm going to use the vise. Obviously the vise is going to leave teeth marks, so it doesn't matter because we're cutting this bit off. So you can see from the setup, from this, that I've exposed, the outer sleeving is pretty thick, but you can always feel when you've hit the actual braided part because it's, well, you can feel it. So you just go in nice and careful like that. You just go around the edge, following that black line. Going round. This is going to be a problem. Sorry if the top of my head keeps coming into shot. I didn't do that very well. You can see that there. So I'm just going to correct that there. Come around like that. So we've done a full circle. So now we're going a bit deeper, like that. So I'm pushing it through. A bit deeper. So you can see I'm getting there. No, I haven't actually gone deep enough. Because you want to be able to see. There you go. See, I've cut right through there. Like that. Like that. Like that. Right, so that's all good. Now I'm going to cut a line along, because you can't pull it off, it's just a bit too tight. So I'm just going to cut down there. Don't go too deep, a bit deeper. You don't want to cut the braid at this end particularly. So let's open up the gap with a screwdriver. And you'll see I've got a good head of hair because my head keeps going in the shot up there. I'm going to get better as it goes along. So I've taken that off and now we've got the braid showing here. Okay, so we need to strip back the braid. Actually, so what I do to do that is I get a screwdriver, which I can't find. I found the ruler though. Got my screwdriver. That's going to go sink down the line. Between. I have built this cable before, but using the Mark I. It's pretty good cable. Sounds very, very dynamic, very silent when it should be silent. So you just got to be patient with this one. It's a bit just to break up the braid as you go along. I'll start snipping it now. So a nice pair of snips is the best thing to use, I find. Snip, snip, snip. So you don't want to snip all the way down, so you want to stop about there.
Where are you stopping? Show the camera.
So you've probably got about 15 mil there, because you need to attach, well, join it together effectively. So snip it around. Ah. So you got there. So now, see, one way I used to do it is wrap a bit of wire around there, but I found, and then solder it. But if the covering, which this kind of is quite heat sensitive, it messes it up because the heat of the solder kind of breaks into the, even though it's pretty quick, it's not a good thing to do. So these days I'll just gather it all together at one end and then solder the piece there. So try not to rip, just go carefully here as you debraid it all the way and all the way around. Take it around the back. You can get rid of this stuff. Snip this off. It's like a towel, paper towel kind of material, quite a bit thick. I'd love to see how they made this cable. So much going on. down. Right, so now you can gather it all up like that and give it a twist, like so. Try and get all those bits off. So I'm going to solder these bits. There. Sorry. Right, so again, using my trusted Weller soldering iron, the WTCP51, and then Mundorf silver solder, 3.8% silver content. There's a bit of gold in it as well. So I'm now soldering the braid. Just don't go mad with the heat, because you don't want to deform the actual casing of the other wires. It just causes problems. Right, so there you go. It's all joined there. Snip it back like so. Bing! Right, see, it's all gathered together. Brilliant. So then we're going to prep the other bits. So this filler has to be removed. Best way to do that is actually with a sharp Stanley. Cuts quite easy. And then another birthday message, because it's my birthday. So you're possibly wondering, how am I going to connect? Because obviously you're going to use, well, it's not obvious, but you're going to use your blue and the black is going to be your earth. And you want to bring all this together. So you need to have a bit of wire going off to these bits. We're also going to join the screen here as well. What I'm going to use is, this is some exposed Neotech wire again. It's the SOCT 18, I believe. So we'll have a list at the end of this of all the bits I've used. So if I've got it wrong here, it will be correct in there. So we're going to join that to that. So a nice easy way, put a bit of a loop in. Like that. And then attach it to the loop, to the actual screen bit. It's nice to have a good physical contact as well as a solder contact. So the wire, the bare wire, I've taken the the sleeving off, it's attaching to the screen that I brought together here. This is where you need 15 hands. So I'm going to use my belly. And I'll just solder that in. Hold your breath. There we go. So this will run alongside this and join with the screen. I'll show you a bit more of that later. Right, focusing on the earth connections now. So you'll see there's a natural way this twists this wire. Just kind of like that. A bit like that. That's cool. Superb. So just going to expose some of this. So this sleeving is pretty easy to cut. Just take it nice and easy as you go around. Boom. We want a similar length there. Boom. Right, so to recap what we've done so far, because we might have had a few technical issues, we have got, this is our negative connection here. So the screen has been gathered together here, twisted, and there's a length of single core Neotech wire that goes up, twists round here, and it connects up to the screen of both the blue and the black here. And then it carries on. I haven't cut any there. That's just wrapped around and carried on all the way to these two conductors that are in the middle of these. So effectively, when this is plugged into the amp end, the negative, the whole wire is kind of screened. You will get benefit from that. It will make it a lot, there'll be no EMF kind of interference. It will be really, really quiet. So now this is ready to have its banana plug fitted. So the thing about the vise, as I mentioned, it's got serrated. I mean, I should put wood in there, but the problem with wood is it's a bit loose. So you just got to protect the end, because I'm going to hold it there like that. The idea is when you have a banana plug, you're heating it up. You're also heating down the length of the banana. You're heating the bloody vise. So if you had it there, you'd be there all day, heating everything. So that's why I kind of hold it there in the vise. So generally what I do, find a bit of heat sink just to protect the ends. Close the vise. Like that. Whoops. You obviously want that exposed. So you can see here that it's pretty tight. There is a better way of getting it in, like that. I'm going to snip the ends a little bit. And just sharpen it up. Like that. So it sticks in a bit better. Superb. Right. So that holds in place. I will just heat this up. No solder, because if I chuck loads of solder in there, you're just going to fill up the bucket. I won't be able to get the bloody lead in. Did I swear? Sorry. Right, so there you go. Heating it up. A few seconds. Pop the lead in, and then get it nice and flat. Start introducing solder. Like so. Come around the other side. Bloody nightmare. The actual banana's moving as well. Right, I know that's a solid join. That is pretty strong. Sweet. So, case in point, you'll see that I heated it up so much that I've kind of melted a bit of the sleeving there. But it doesn't matter because it's all wired up together anyway. So, I'm not worried. So that's ready. I mean, I will heat shrink over the top of that. All right, cool. So the next side will be a bit easier because there's no earth involved. So that's the natural twist of it. Take it back, expose. That. Expose. I'm going to trim back remember for the positive of the speaker, we are not connecting the screen. So I'm just going to cut it short. So on this one.
Hit back. Try and stand back a little bit more. That'll do.
All right, getting it ready for soldering. So prepping the other conductor for the positive. It ruins your nails, this job. Right, there you go. And I'm going to wrap that round. So you can see here, just to show you the difference between the two conductors. The white one is a thicker cable made of thicker individual wires. See that? They're quite thick. But this one is multi-strand, made up of very thin wires. So, anyway, wrapping that round. One. Let's get that soldered up when it's got its form. Because you want it as tight as possible to fit in the bucket for the solder on the banana plug. Around the other side. Brilliant. It's all looking a bit tatty, don't worry, we're going to get heat shrink on there to smarten it all up. Again, protecting the end. A bit of this. I must create something that holds these things in place tight without destroying them. So that, you can see it still wobbles, tighten it up a bit more. Should be right. And then it's just give it like that. There's a bit of a cut. Right, that's nice. So again, same procedure. We're going to heat up the plug for a little minute. And slide her in. And heat them both up. Then introduce the flow. That's nice. Not too much though, there you go. Brilliant. So, doing that there, because I was saying about this sleeving, it does melt. If it does melt and touches the screen, it's no big issue really. I'm pretty sure it hasn't though. So, that's one side done. Or prepped ready for cleaning up. So what I'm going to do, black heat shrink for the black side. Just going to see how much I need. Kind of cut it to what you think you need. then you can trim it back a bit. When you're, obviously that's hot still because I just did that one. So don't put heat shrink near hot things. So let it cool down and then mess about. So that'll slide down. Will it? I might have to use a bigger heat shrink. Right. I'm going to have to use a bigger heat shrink. But initially, I'm going to use, how far did it get down? Got to about there. So there. Cut to about there. Get the red as well, so that get the right length. So cutting the red, same length. There. So the red will go on the red side. I want more than that. I want it to be longer. It's not long enough. So let's do about there. Make sure it's square. Right, because you want the ends to be about there. Cool. And the black side, the negative side. Same thing, about there. Bro. So gun, heat shrink. All good. Superb. Right. I'm just debating whether to go all the way with this. So the problem when you put loads of heat shrink on, it becomes really stiff to move around, to put in and out your plugs. I think I'm going to leave it like that. But we're going to clean up this end with heat shrink and tape actually this time. So, a bit of tape, make sure you start off with the square end. So keep it straight. The reason I'm using tape is because we don't have heat shrink wide enough to, this is the widest one we do, and it's not wide enough to go over this, but we do have the clear, so I'm going to use the black tape and then put some clear on. So, we're going to wrap the tape around. You want it to look neat, so try and keep it uniform. Actually no, rewind. Better thing to do is use a bit of the black heat shrink that we've got just to keep all that tight. So about 15 mil of that there. Pop it down like that. That's cool. A bit more. similar length like that. Cool. Over the top. I'm going to build up 3 layers right here. Watch your fingers, you don't burn them. Bit more. I'll make sure I cover all that one. Looking good. So while it's still warm, because this tape works better when it's slightly warm. And then start covering like you're doing handlebars of a bike. Like so. That'll do. Brilliant. And then we're going to have some of this. This is the kind of wide, clear. Make sure you're covering everything. Boom. That's cool. Brilliant. So actually looks pretty cool. I like that, the way that looks. So yeah, that's one side down. This is the harder end to do. So the other end is going to be a bit easier. I'm going to just do a continuity check. Obviously you do not want them to be, you know, connected in any way, shape or form. Thank the Lord they're not, which is great. So I'm going to prep the other end. So this is the speaker end. You can see the arrow. Yeah, there you go. So there's the arrow, and that's pointing towards the speaker end. So we found the shatterproof ruler. We've got a bit of tape. I did have. Get that ready. So 8 centimeters down. So 8. So we marked up our 8 centimeters, looping the tape round. So we've got a marker when we're doing the cut. So we're repeating the process here effectively for exposing the conductors under here. Boom. So we're going to just cut this off, get rid of it. So I'm just going to go in with snips, snippy snips, straight down. Be careful not to cut anything underneath. Cool. We're going to be heat shrinking this anyway, so it's no big cheese if there's a few strands exposed. Cool, that'll do. That's fine. Weirdly quite tricky to get rid of this. There you go, now we're on the reel. Brilliant. Get rid of your filler. Right, let's do the earth one first, which is this one. So remember we're going to be getting rid of all the screens on this end, the speaker end. So it just makes it a bit easier. Good. Right. And the outer. Cool. Wrap them together. Solder. They should make this sleeving a bit thicker and not so make it more heat resistant. Anyway. Good. And then bananas. 2 more. Cool. Heat it up for a bit. Pop it in. Heat up a bit more. And add the solder. Brilliant. Prep the other end, the signal bit.
Data travels down there, it does.
Cut the screen off. So we're just cutting off the screen of the positive side of the speaker keyboard. Cool. So you can kind of see why Neotech say just cut the screens off. Just makes it easier to build it, I think. Anyway, we're getting there. Rub that round. Might heat up the banana plug a little bit. Pop it in there. That's pretty poor. Cool, and now we're going to go put some heat sink on. Black one first. Good one. Then we're going to build up down here with the about 15 mil. Let's get it straight first. We're going to do 3 lots. Right. Build it up. cool. Let's take this off. I don't need this on anymore. It's warm still. Right, get your tape. Wrap it round once, and then start coming over. That's it, a few times. How deep do I go? That's it. So, I'll make sure we do the same as the other one. Great, and then just make sure continuity is good. So that's good. So red to red, wicked. And then black. To black. That's all good. And there's no cross. Phew. So there we go. There we have it. Bit of a complicated build. Could do with a bit of a heat resistant screen on there. But there she is. Just before I sign off, I want to say a big thank you for watching our videos. Like and subscribe, and follow us on all the social network platforms. See you later.